are here today with Giten Tonkov, and I'd like to ask you, Giten, you just wrote an amazing book, Feel to Heal, releasing trauma through body awareness and breath practices, and I have already many questions from practitioners of BBTRS around the world, and they keep on asking me when is book coming up and all the details. So tell us about it.
Yes, I'm very excited. This book, it's been 25 years in the making. It's all of my experience that I have gathered throughout my lifetime, starting as a massage therapist 25 years ago in New York City, and then slowly evolving into breath worker and then trauma therapist. So this book summarizes the practice of biodynamic breath work and trauma release. And the book is coming out on March 5th. It's going to be available on Amazon. I'm super excited. This is kind of my life's work.
Amazing. You sent me a copy of the book, and I haven't finished, but it's a very nice read. I like the language, and there's a lot of very important informations around trauma, anatomy of trauma, anatomy of breath, nervous system. So who is this book for? Who would you recommend this book to?
It's very good that you noticed that there's a lot of scientific studies that backs up everything that every statement that we make in the book. The book is for anybody who wants to bring their attention to themselves and to also find out what is happening in their body because they repressed the traumatic event that is stuck in their system. So the book is actually informative and a practical guide for people to work with their own healing, as well as for seasoned therapists that work already with breath and body work. They can learn so much about how trauma is stuck in our system, what are the effects, and what is the science behind working with the body and working with trauma release.
What I also particularly liked about your book, Feel to Heal, that you're giving a lot of case study, your patients, clients who have been cured or been in the process of trauma healing through BBTRS method. And also many of your personal stories, like what touched me in the beginning, you're talking about how traumatic event in your early childhood took a place in your life and how this guided you into the path of breath work and healing and eventually producing this amazing book. So what interested me was what was the impulse for you? What was the journey to create the book? How does it come about?
You know, I have been in this field for many years and gathered information and personal experience, and like you said, there are so many case studies in the book. And first of all, I have gone through this journey myself, and everything, all the exercises, all the practices that are in the book, I experienced on myself first and experimented with them with people, with individual clients and groups over the course of many years. And the book just came out as a desire to summarize all the information that I present and teach in the trainings in biodynamic breathwork and trauma release. But first of all, as you said, it's my own personal journey as a human being and as a therapist to go through my own personal healing, my own growth, and bringing into working with people. So my first personal experience to work with trauma was many years ago at the Osho Meditation Resort in Pune, which at that time I had no idea that this is trauma work. But it evolved over the course of past 15, 20 years. It evolved into the work that we practice now. And with every group, with every session demo that I give in the group, I am just amazed how this works, how powerful it is, that it transforms people's life. We just had a demo about half an hour ago. We're in Turkey, we're in the training right now, and this demo touched me so deeply. The demo was around opening the heart, working with the thoracic belt of tension. So the demo model went into the space of complete bliss, and you could see how it touched everyone in the room. And this, for me, this is the juice of the work, that it's not only effective on the person that's doing it, it starts to affect everyone who is around. It has this ripple effect that spreads. By now, it's all around the world. And what moved me to put this book is the desire to share it with as many people as possible. The world needs this work. The world needs this this connection with self, first of all, and then to allow yourself to connect with others from the space beyond the personality, beyond the superficial layers, but really start to drop this resistance, this closeness around the heart, and coming into the vulnerability and connect out of that space.
Beautiful. When I also read the book, what I noticed that there is a lot of amazing information on different aspects related to trauma, to anatomy, to breath work. There is a concept of felt sense, resourcing, all the information about how trauma affect our nervous system and what is the mechanism, what is the psychological mechanism of healing trauma. But if you could just summarize for, let's say, somebody who is new to the subject, some of the practice or some of the elements from the book that the newcomer who would read it would be interested and would take just one practice with them from the book, what would you recommend to such person? Which of the practices or concept you find that like most fundamental in working with breath, with trauma, with body awareness?
One of the main practices that we work with, and the concept, is the concept of felt sense, which is a purely physical experience of yourself, that we feel our body without attaching any meaning to it. And in our culture, it is kind of common that people disconnect from their physical body. A lot of us just stuck in the mind, we're stuck in the doing, or we're stuck in a dissociated space. Feeling yourself either part by part or as a whole in a purely physical sense, that's what brings us back to our body. And because of the felt sense is kind of a moving target, it's constantly shifting and changing. This is what we call tracking the sensation. When we find out what we feel right now in our body without attaching any meaning to it, and we stay with it until it shifts. We're bringing breath into it because breath makes us more sensitive to feel to what's going on. The first thing that we do when we don't want to feel, we cut off our breathing. We breathe shallow. And the moment we start to bring deeper, fuller breath, the felt sense becomes more acute in us. And this is by far the most effective way to connect to yourself, to our bodies, to our emotions, to our feelings, and to actually stay present. And from this space, we can easily connect to someone else.
Great. So, practicing felt sense, coming back to our body, is that enough just to ask myself, how do I feel right now? And focus on breathing? Or what else I need to do to really connect with this felt sense, to really feel this present moment, to be in my body and to track down the sensations, what you talked about? What are the steps? How I can develop that quality? Because it takes a while, it takes a time, and it's progressive. We can't just open up and feel it. Yeah. That's my understanding and my journey. So what would you recommend? How to develop that skill?
It's actually quite simple. To start with this, the first step we need to do is to bring our breath back. to start with either deep, full connected breathing through the mouth, inhale, exhale without a pause, or if this is too much, just like that. Or if this is too much for you, it could be inhalation through the nose, exhalation through the mouth. This will open us up to the feeling, to actually be more acutely sensitive to the physical sensation.
Makes sense.
The next step is to start to sense our body part by part. For example, you can start to sense your hand. What is the temperature? How the hand feels? What is the strength that we can have in our hand when we squeeze our fist? Then bringing in the other part of the body, the whole arm. What is the sensation in the entire arm? Then bringing in the neck, the other arm. And slowly, step by step, we're starting to bring part by part the rest of our body. When this is done, we sense ourselves as a whole, without being separated part by part. The main thing here is to not give any meaning to what you feel. It's strictly about the physical sensations that we experience. So for example, if I bring my attention to my chest right now, I can feel that there's openness when I take in a big breath. There's expansion that happens. And this expansion goes not only to the chest, it also goes to the back, that my belly also expands. With the breath, I feel that there's more space is created there. There's warmth, there's some kind of tingling sensation if I breathe for a while. And in this way, we start to become more and more aware of our body. And this supports us to be grounded in our body. Any kind of emotional intelligence comes from being grounded in the body. Any kind of spiritual development comes from being grounded in the body. Spirituality, true spirituality, never comes from above. We always raise up from the ground up.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward for my next travel. I love reading on the plane, and in a few days I'm flying back to Poland. I will be able to hopefully complete your book. It's a very good read. I like the language you use. I like the study cases, and very informative. A lot of great content for me as also breath worker and body worker, therapist. So I also encourage you, 5th of March, there is launch of Giten's book, Feel to Heal, Release Trauma Through Body Awareness and Breath Practice. And it's going to be available on Amazon.
On Amazon. And in the first month, it's going to be available for only 99 cents. We want to make it available to as many people as possible. So buy it in the first 30 days after March 5th and enjoy. It's really an amazing read. I'm just rereading it now as a final read before the release, and I actually have to say that I'm really loving how it flows.
Yeah.
I had such an amazing editor, a person that helped me write the book. Her name is Giten Tonkov, and she really helped me out a lot with scientific studies and putting all of my experience and expertise into the content and actually the written and readable language,
yeah.
which is it's really quite a fun read. Besides being very informative, there's so much to be gained from my own personal stories and really true case studies from workshops.
Cool. So get a book, 5th of March on Amazon. If you like it, leave some comments on Amazon. It would be really nice to hear your feedback about the book. And take a deep breath. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you soon.